All right. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
You sure okay there?
Yeah.
You sounded like you were just taking a gulp of something.
I was. I'm drinking my tea, and you asked the question as I'm like in the middle of swallowing.
What's up, everyone? You are listening to episode 3 of the recurring Bosscast. My name is Jet from SplitKick.com, and with me is Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing all right, and you?
Good. Ready for Black Friday.
Black Friday. And Matt, what's shaking?
Not too much, man. Ready for Black Friday as well.
Oh, man, you guys are so hyped about the Black Friday. And I mean, by the time people hear this, Black Friday is going to be way over and done.
Unless you own a DeLorean. You just go back in time and see all the stuff we're talking about.
Or you have all of your dates mixed up and wrong.
That's true.
Yeah, so are you guys big Black Friday shoppers?
I'm a big a Black Friday peruser. I like looking at the deals.
I'm a fan of good deals. I have only gone actually shopping on Black Friday once, and it was last year for an hour to pick up one specific thing. But this will be the maybe 7th or 8th time I'm actually going to be working on Black Friday.
That's
fun.
The joys of retail.
Yes, exactly. Fortunately, this year I'm not doing the midnight shift, so I just have a regular 10 to 5 on Friday. But I don't know. This is the first year in almost a decade that I haven't done the midnight shift. So moving up in life, I suppose.
Matt, you braving the crazy stampedes of people in order to get your Canadian Black Friday shopping on?
No, you know what? I refuse to step out of the house on Black Friday. If I shop, I'll shop from online. If I don't know, I'm not a big go and stand in line and fight the lines kind of person.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of. I think I like more. I'm more like looking at these sort of deals online, seeing what's going on, than actually going out to buy things. If I find a good deal, I'll take advantage of it. I bought a laptop last Black Friday. But yeah, I think I like looking at them more than I do actually going out and shopping.
Yeah,
all right.
It is fun to see what you could be getting.
Yeah. Like, some guy's going to be really lucky with that.
Yeah, exactly. Not going to be me, but he'll be happy.
So what's on that list, Matt, of stuff you may or may not have bought this Black Friday?
There's a few things. Like, I've been looking, don't tell Liza, but I've been looking to see if I can find a new TV. They've got some.
She'll know by the time this comes out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'll be in the living room eventually. Yeah, I've seen some pretty good deals. I don't remember where it was, but I saw one. They had something like a 48 or a 52 inch or something for low 300s. So pretty good LED.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing some pretty good deals. It's actually, with the amount of flyers and things that are out there now, it's kind of hard to keep track of where you're seeing all these deals, but
yeah,
it's they got some pretty good stuff. Lots of cheap games. You guys have probably seen some of the good prices for some of the Xbox and PC PlayStation 3 games. That. Yeah, I don't know. What about you guys?
I've done a lot of game shopping lately. Besides some bigger investments that we'll talk about later on in the show. But the only thing Black Friday-wise that I'm kind of interested in is Dead Island for $10.
It's a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would if I didn't already have it, $10 would be very, very tempting.
It's not quite your magic price, though.
Yes. Mine would be $5.
$5. Oh, man. This was a inside joke from before we started the show. I mean, let's talk about the magic price, because I'm certain that other people have magic prices as well. So do you want to explain the theory, Jason, on the magic price?
Yes, I will explain. So this is a term that I've dubbed myself as growing up. It's probably called something else, but whenever there's a game that is a certain amount of money, you will always buy that game or be very interested, even if you don't like the game or it has bad scores, and that is the magic price. So mine would be $5. So whenever a game is $5 or less, I will be very much more inclined to actually pick it up, even though it really sucks. So case in point, today I was looking through GameStop just to stop through before the Black Friday craziness, and saw the very first Two Worlds game, and it was $3.99. And that game isn't supposed to be that good, but hey, $4, I think I could buy it. So at some point, I will likely own the game just for the fact that it was less than $5.
A couple of years ago, I think 2 years ago, I bought Perfect Dark Zero for $1.99.
Wow.
That's how much I bought it for, too.
And I played it for 20 minutes and said, man, this is garbage.
Yeah,
and
this game
traded
sucks.
it in for double its value.
Yeah. I think I actually got one of the first games I got for the 360 when I bought it was Perfect Dark Zero, and it was the collector's edition, and it was $3. Wow. It was a steal. And it still sucks.
Well, it is the collector's edition.
Yes, that's true. What was I thinking?
So the reason we're recording the show a little earlier than usual is that our friend Jason here about to go in for some surgery.
Yeah, going under. I need to get my wisdom teeth removed, all 4 of them, on Monday. So it'll be kind of right when we were planning on recording. I will hopefully not be bleeding so profusely I couldn't talk, but bleeding enough that I probably shouldn't be talking on the podcast.
Yeah, so we wish you all the best on that. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, it went pretty smooth. Just make sure that you are well stocked with the drugs that you get from your dentist or pharmacist or whatever. The part that sucks the most is the morning after.
Yeah.
Because you've had the entire day to take the drugs on schedule, and then you have to go that entire night without it, and it is the worst pain ever.
Understandable. I actually didn't even think about that. But hopefully it works out okay. I'm still worried about the top 2 teeth because they're not protruding yet, so I need to like dig in and cut them out, and that's kind of frightening. So we'll see how it works.
Wishing you the best on luck on that, man.
Yes.
Anything else going on with you guys besides the Black Fridays and the wisdom teeth?
No, not really. I mean, in terms of this recording, tomorrow is Thanksgiving for us Americans, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Turkey Day. We got ahead of the game and finished that like a month ago.
Yeah.
We like to get it out of the
It'll
way.
be nice. It's always nice to get the family together. We don't see each other all the time, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
And Thanksgiving is a big football day for you guys up there too, right?
Yeah, it is. They always have 2 games on Thanksgiving, or at least they always have since I can remember. And we watch it just for, the reasons being there's nothing else to really watch at the time. But, I mean, none of our teams play. Like, I'm a Chicago fan, so the Bears usually don't play on Thanksgiving. But we always watch. And then we always watch the parade, the Macy's parade in the morning. That's always pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kids seem to like that, too.
Yeah, we had our Santa Claus parade here last weekend. And football, we actually have some football news up here that probably nobody cares about, even Matt and I. But our native Toronto Argonauts made it to the Grey Cup.
Yes, they did.
What is the Grey Cup?
That is not quite the Black Cup, but a little darker than the White Cup.
Boom.
It makes so much more sense now.
It's the Canadian Football League Championship.
So it's like the Canadian Football Super Bowl?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's the special because this year is the 100th anniversary of the Grey Cup, and it's being held.
Oh, wow.
It's being held in Toronto. So now that Toronto's in it, it makes it a lot more special.
Right.
Yeah.
Just hearing the Grey Cup makes me think of something medieval, like it's this chalice that's filled with the blood of, I don't know, young witches.
Yeah, some kind of Game of Thrones reference or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, Matt, in the city, do you feel like people are actually excited for the Grey Cup?
I don't, actually. I mean, if you're in certain areas, you can kind of sort of immerse yourself in it, but on the whole, I don't think the city is excited as it should be. I think of all the sports that we could have made the championship in, the CFL is probably not the best one or the most widely accepted, or but good on them. Good season.
This is true. I mean, it's fun. It's kind of ironic that we are, in general, a very big sports town, but all of our professional sports teams are terrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Leafs stink, the Raptors stink, the TFC stinks, and finally we have this one team that's actually doing well, but it's a sport that no one here really cares about, so everyone's completely indifferent.
Yeah, and I'm not a
maybe it could be that sport that just like ignites the fires for everything else, though.
Yeah, no.
No.
And the thing is,
I'm trying to be optimistic.
I don't know. I don't watch it at any time, so I'm not going to just go ahead and go, oh, I'm such a huge CFL fan now they're in the playoffs. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It'd be awesome if they won it. I think the last time they won it was I don't know, many years ago. But it'd be nice to have a championship team in Toronto for a change. It'd be also a lot nicer if it was in a sport we cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple other things besides the football. Steph and I got a Christmas tree.
Nice.
Woo!
Pre-lit?
So, no. So this is the first year Steph and I are celebrating Christmas as a couple living under the same roof. And my family has not put up a Christmas tree in many years. My family gets pretty lazy around Christmas time. Just whatever. My brother and I are pretty old, and it doesn't mean as much to us to put that tree up. But it's a big deal for Steph. And one of the things I did not realize was how expensive Christmas trees can get,
yeah.
the fake ones. And initially I was freaking out and looking at the prices going in the hundreds for a tree that looked kind of decent. And eventually we found one, though, at Zeller's for $50, and it looks great.
Nice.
So,
good.
Awesome. And we bought a whole bunch of decorations, and that went nice and smooth.
Nice.
There was, though, before then, Steph was looking on Kijiji for a tree, and this one person said, all right, come by my house tomorrow between the hours of 6 and 7 o'clock, and I will sell you this tree.
My gosh.
What happens if you show up before that?
This was on a
Executed.
Yeah.
Thursday night. And so this person was located on the other side of town. I pick up Steph. She works in the downtown core. And we're on the way there, and she gets a text from this lady at 6 o'clock saying, oh, sorry, I sold the tree.
What?
Yeah, clearly she didn't understand her own directions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her time did not say.
I thought we had a deal, but apparently she did not feel the same way.
That tree was probably terrible and rotted anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move on to some show feedback. Thank you guys for writing in to the show. Couple of things I want to hit off the top. Aaron Fokel of the Rocket Jump podcast, also a Split Kick writer, he wanted to clarify some things about Darth Maul.
Okay.
So Darth Maul actually did come back in the Clone Wars cartoons.
I was actually thinking of that after we talked about it. Yeah, he had iron legs or something, looked like a spider or something like that.
Yes, I've seen two forms, where one, he sort of has these really thick legs, and then the crazy spider legs.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
You sound so impressed by that.
Yeah.
Other things going on, Davey Hugs and Aaron chimed in on Halo and where to start, and both of them agreed I should play it co-op. That is the way to go, supposedly. Aaron from here, Twitter, says, also, highly recommended making your first campaign run, bracket any of them, to be played co-op. Split screen / live is better than live only is better than solo.
Nice.
Darth Maul looks pretty cool, I guess. Sorry, off topic.
No, that's cool.
I don't know why he's not wearing any clothes, but whatever.
Hey, when you're Darth Maul, you don't have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
Aaron again throws in some games that were unpopular or overlooked. Psyops the Mindgate Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Either of you guys play that?
No, I've heard of it.
Heard of it.
Totally meets the criteria. And also Def Jam Fight for New York.
Yeah, that one's not bad. I remember playing that one.
I have seen that one, but I have not played it. Steph actually bought a copy of Def Jam Icon a couple of years ago. She was in a video game starring rappers jonesing for that style of game for whatever reason. I think it was 50 Cent Blood on the Sand that did it for her.
Nice.
So she played that game, really liked it, wanted some more, bought Def Jam Icon, and that game is terrible.
Yeah.
I've not played Icon yet.
It's bad.
Yeah. Like Street Fighter with people you don't care about.
Oh, it's not even that. Just the fighting was terrible.
Yeah, basically.
At least, Def Jam Fight for New York was based on those Nintendo 64 wrestling games.
Yeah, it's by the same corporation. Yeah. It was actually pretty good.
And a couple other bits here from JJ. He really liked Final Fantasy 13 and was one of the few people that did.
Oh, really?
Yeah?
I don't know.
Yeah, my girlfriend Laura, her sister really likes 13. I've yet to really get into it, so I can't tell you, but she swears by it. So apparently it's a really hit or miss, but people like it, really love it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games, like you said, it's just where you either really like it or you just don't like it at all. I haven't really found anybody sort of on the fence about it.
Yeah,
but apparently the whole lightning storyline is pretty good.
Yeah, it must be good enough for Square to make 3 other games concerning her. So
yeah, well, I think the second game, either the first or second game, didn't have anything to do with her. Well, one of them didn't, but then I think the last one kind of picks up where
Yeah.
with her story there.
Yeah.
I think it's the second one.
Yeah.
But I don't play Final Fantasy games.
Yeah,
so
she's not. I don't think she's really in 13-2.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, though, it's got to be good enough that they made, like 27 games out of her, so.
Yeah. My experience with Lightning is she's a pretty cool character in Dissidia, but I don't think it's Duodecium or whatever.
Yeah.
The second one, and she's pretty cool, but that's all I know about her.
I don't know.
One last...
Give me a Final Fantasy VII remake any day.
Yeah, I think Sony and Square holding it until they're really in the hole. They're like, hey, remember when we were awesome? And then throw out this game, but...
I hope you're right.
Not yet, at least.
I hope you're right, and I hope they get in the hole really soon.
Yeah. Financial woes begot.
Yeah. I'll be the only person happy to hear that. They're in financial woes. Yes, we're getting
Square
Final
Enix
Fantasy VII
loses,
remake.
Sony loses $700 billion. Oh, yes.
Like one little scream in the back. It's me. Yeah, all right.
That's funny. I just imagine at the Square Enix offices, there's just like a glass case in case of emergency break glass, and there's a copy of Final Fantasy VII there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remake.
It's in a huge vault that opens up.
definitely.
The emergency plan, just this one little piece of data disk.
Yeah. All the CEOs have keys, and they all have to put them in at the same time to open up this,
Yeah,
the
and they all have to look at each other and then nod and then turn it. Yeah.
And one more tweet from JJ, who did not approve of me not liking Journey. He says, "You didn't like Journey? You're dead to me."
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
harsh.
But JJ, I thought we were Wii U friends now.
Are you Wii U friends now?
Yes, we are Wii U
Well, there you
friends
go.
now.
Implying you must have a Wii U now.
Yeah, let's talk about
my
that a
God.
little later.
Okay.
But yeah, to start, Jason, what are you playing?
I am actually still playing Borderlands 2. So
Not
I
surprisingly.
think it's now, 2 months after it came out, and I'm still playing it. Still really enjoying it. And that DLC just came out yesterday, the Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage.
Mhm.
So more reasons to even go back and play. But yeah, I've been playing that. I finished and beat last week. I was doing Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. So I finished it, wrote the review, but this is one of the first times I'm actually going back and doing every possible thing I could do in a game.
Oh.
Just because the game is so addictive. Like, I need to know the full story. So it's been fun to go back.
Is it Zero Escape or the one before it where if you go back and do alternate actions, the game actually remembers what you did on the previous playthrough and talks to you about it?
I can't speak for the first 999 because I didn't play it.
Okay.
But this one, you kind of do that, and it's kind of the idea of why you go back.
Oh, okay.
And I really want to see, what happens when you know everything when you get to the final ending, like what changes. So it's cool, and it better be good because I'm investing so much time. So
How many hours did you say you've invested in it?
I've got to be up. I think it's like up to 30. So
Nice.
I am almost done. Like they give you it's called like the flow system. And it's basically a big old flow chart basically. And I'm almost at the end. I've almost done everything. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But besides that, I am looking at the collector's edition of Adventure Time for the
Nice.
3DS. Hey, Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage?
What's
Best title ever.
included
Awesome
in
title.
this? What's included in this collector's edition?
It's really, really hit or miss. I'm going to open it up. Like, the coolest part is the collector's edition. I think it's only for 3DS. I don't know if there's a DS version, but I don't know if there's a collector's edition. But the case itself is a bigger case. It's a steel book, and it's shaped like the Enchiridion from the actual episode about the Enchiridion book. And so that's pretty cool. That's the neatest part, because you get the game inside, and you get a replica of Finn's sword that he uses, like the golden sword, as a stylus.
Oh,
So it's
that's
got,
awesome.
I mean, it looks, it says everything on it. And it's got the little point at the end to use as a stylus. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
And then the other two bonuses besides the game itself are the Book of Beasts, which is also from one of the episodes, that just gives you, it's essentially the instruction manual almost, just for the monsters. So it says their name, like Small Candy Zombies and Crystal Guardians, and it has their sprite, some information, and it actually gives hit points, so it's cool. But it looks just like an instruction manual, so it's not like a hardback book or anything, and it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
It's just a few pieces of paper, but it's something extra. And then there's a fold-out map of the land in the game. There's only 4 zones, but it looks very, very reminiscent of the NES versions of Zelda. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's neat additions, but the cool part is definitely the case. Like, it just looks neat. It'll look cool on a collector's, in your library, just sitting there. People will be like, "What is that book?" And then it's Adventure Time.
Nice.
So
I've heard the
cool.
combat in it's kind of like a Zelda-esque as well, sort of like Zelda 2 era.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Unfortunately, I got it like an hour and a half ago because FedEx came late, so I wasn't actually able to play it yet. But I'll be playing it tonight.
Nice.
So it looks good. But other than that, I'm not really playing anything else right now.
So if we hear you trail off, you've opened it and started playing it.
I've gotten bored with your conversation and started playing Adventure Time.
Nice.
Anything else you got cooking?
No, I'm going to be working on the new Family Guy game for the 360, but I've yet to get it yet. Or I've yet to get it just because I'm doing Adventure Time now. So we'll
Terrible.
see. What? Family Guy?
Yeah.
Back to the multiverse?
Well, yeah, it's just not that good.
But it looks so promising. I don't know. It's a TV game.
Yeah.
My hopes were high.
Akin to the Simpsons game that came out. What was it? I don't know the one.
I think that's what it was called, the Simpsons game.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard bad things about it. I've seen a couple reviews on it, and I also know somebody that started playing it, and it's not. Well, according to them, it's not the best. But I mean, you can play it, make your own judgment. So you think.
Yeah. My hopes really weren't that high. It just looked kind of cool, like a neat concept with this multiverse. That episode was pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it. What about you, Matt? What do you got going on?
I got a key to the alpha version of this game called the War Z, or Z for Canadians. Z for Americans.
Is it just the Wars?
No, it's well, in the title on the actual game, it looked all like one word, so it kind of would be the Wars, but I think it's the War Z.
Wars, yo.
Wars, yeah. What is it? I've never heard of this.
So what it is, and again, this is just the alpha version, so it's kind of in the making. It's not really complete yet.
Right.
It's basically an open world zombie survival game, and I'm not entirely sure if I like it. Again, I've only played a little bit of it, and it's just literally you just run around and you try and collect things. So basically you're running around scavenging guns or items or food. You have a hunger meter and a thirst meter and then your life bar. And so basically you kind of have to feed all of those things as you go through. And I guess the idea, once the game sort of gets more developed, is that groups of people will get on there and work together to sort of scavenge the best stuff or get the best items. But as it stands right now, you're kind of just running through this barren sort of have any of you guys played the Arma mod, the DayZ or DayZ, or heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's
Heard of it.
It's pretty heavily influenced by that, and you can tell sort of just by playing it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of empty right now, so I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not getting the full experience, but as it stands, it's kind of a little bit boring. It's kind of funny actually because you start with a flashlight and some like granola bars or something. And so you're literally just kind of left to your own devices. You get thrown into this game and there's nobody around, and you just kind of wander. But the best part is because you have a flashlight, you can actually use it as a weapon. But what you get is people that don't really know what they're doing, so they end up fighting each other. So you run around these towns and all you see is just people hitting each other with flashlights, running around the levels all the time. So it's kind of funny, like I said. And again, it's only the alpha, so I'm assuming it's going to get better or get a little bit more fleshed out. But
long way to go.
Yeah, kind of a strange experience if you can get it. I think IGN Prime members get a free alpha code. It's good for like 24 hours, I think. So,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, check it out if you can. It's an interesting experience. Hopefully, it gets a little bit better as it gets more fleshed out.
Have you played any DayZ before this?
No, I haven't. But I've been really interested in it, and so when I saw the code for this, I kind of jumped on it. Have you done any DayZ? Or have you played Arma at all?
No. Generally not my thing. I'm just kind of curious as to how much DayZ-like this War Z game is. I'm guessing it's a lot.
It is. It's very much so. Like, I mean, I've only seen reviews and sort of screenshots and gameplay of DayZ, but very heavily influenced from what I can tell. It's I think the combat system in DayZ is a lot more refined. It's because it's based, I think, on more of like a Battlefield sort of down the sights, shoot your gun kind of mentality. Whereas with you've still got that sort of mechanic in the War Z, but it sort of seems tacked on. Doesn't really seem like it's a native kind of thing. I just remember walking up to zombies and they're coming at you and they just kind of, walk towards you and you hit them and they like, oh, and then you hit them and then you hit them again. You hit them like 8 times and they just drop to the ground. And there's no real danger. You just kind of hit them with things and then they die. And then they bite you the odd time and whatever. Then you just eat a granola bar and move on to the next one. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But, yeah, if you get a chance, try it out, see what you think. What about you, Jet?
I've also been playing a zombie game.
Which
Just
one?
before the show, I wrapped up Walking Dead episode 5.
Oh, don't tell me. I
already?
haven't got there yet.
How far are you, Matt?
I'm actually just in the middle of episode 3. Well, beginning, middle of episode 3.
Okay.
Well, no spoilers. I haven't played it yet.
It's really hard to talk about
I know.
The Walking Dead without going into spoilers.
I know.
I've been reviewing The Walking Dead episodes on my blog in third person, and I just find it really hard to say anything other than I like this one. I didn't like this one as much.
Yeah.
It was a little better in this segment and not as much on that one. But go play it. But and I guess it's really hard with episode 5 because this is the big
Finale,
ending,
right? Yeah.
It's the finale. I can say that it was really great, amazing ending.
Okay, good.
To it. Very. Oh man, I can't. Just play it. Play it.
You should just have a side conversation outside of this. Yeah. I'll leave. It's fine.
No, not even for that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
It is-
without spoiling it, you can say that it is worth playing through because the ending is satisfying.
I would say that even if episode 5 was garbage, the first 4 episodes are so good that it's probably still worth a look, but episode 5 is also great.
So we're not getting like a Mass Effect 3 sort of
That's what I was thinking.
No.
disappointment.
I was pretty moved by the ending, and
Wow. High praise.
was feelings.
Wow.
I don't want to say
stuff.
what, but yes.
It made you feel feelings. That's
Made me
it's
feel
a good
feelings.
game.
That is a box quote for when the box version of it comes out next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want to pick up. I'll probably be getting that. So.
That is, if I could give you guys homework, it would be finish off The Walking Dead before we have our Game of the Year discussion at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It may factor in there for you guys. It does for me.
Wow. Okay.
Spoilers.
We'll see. That's pretty awesome. Sounds great.
Other things. In light of our last episode, I have tracked down a copy of Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and beat the campaign.
Fantastic.
Wow. That's fast.
Yeah, I beat that in 2 days.
Yeah, it's a pretty short
mean,
campaign.
All the Call of Duty games are pretty short campaign-wise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
up until this point, I've had a negative perception towards Treyarch because I played World at War, really didn't like it. Played Call of Duty 3, and that one wasn't really fair to judge because I was playing it years later. But Black Ops was pretty good. I really liked the focus on story on this one, or at least a little more so than, say, the Modern Warfare games, which is just, oh man, crazy scenario X, Y, Z, but I don't know how any of these stitch together.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't think the highs are as high in Black Ops, but I felt like it was much tighter overall.
Mhm.
So
Good.
that was fun.
Yeah. You gonna do multiplayer or no?
Probably not.
I guess, is anybody doing multiplayer on that one anymore?
You know what? There's still sort of, I guess, niche groups that play everything pretty much right back to like World at War. But it's kind of, I think, gets a little bit more difficult to find a group to play with once the new one comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
I would probably... I don't really play Call of Duty multiplayer much, but if I were to jump into it, I would jump into whatever the latest one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I guess at some point I will try and track down Modern Warfare 3 and eventually Black Ops 2, but I'm in no rush.
I'm sure there'll be a Black Friday sale for both of them.
Definitely.
Yeah. I beat Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, you did.
Wow.
That is... I've seen a lot of negative comments and message board discussion, and I don't know if it's fully deserving of that. Even myself, I posted a review on my blog for Assassin's Creed 3 that I think reads pretty negatively, though in hindsight it's probably not fully indicative of how I felt about that game. I think
You liked it then?
I did like it.
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable experience overall. I thought the story was great, and it was fun to play. But with that said, there's a lot of things to nitpick about that game that just kind of bring it down.
Yeah.
And what sucks is that game has the potential to be incredible. There are so many things it does well, from the story to the world to kind of the concepts behind the missions and all of these little gameplay systems that they have strewn about, but I don't think it comes together as they would have hoped.
Is it something like the game doesn't know what it wants to be, or is it just doing too much?
I think it is definitely doing too much.
Okay.
Like, one of the things, money is useless in the game. You do not have to buy anything. Yet so many of the game systems revolve around money and spending money, but you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. There are some other ones I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've been playing a lot of late, but I would say overall it was pretty good. I would definitely recommend fans of the Assassin's Creed series to check it out.
Cool.
But it is not the best one. There's some gotchas in there, but
Well,
still
what do you think the
enjoyable.
best one is? 2?
2 or Brotherhood?
Brotherhood?
I
think
like Brotherhood.
Brotherhood is great.
Yeah. I think Brotherhood
I like
probably
2.
my favorite. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Well, you know which one was terrible? The one for the PSP was god-awful. The, what is it called? Bloodlines.
Yeah,
Bloodlines.
yeah.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of par for the course with the PSP.
True. I've heard good things about the Vita version, though. I mean, that's supposed to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard good things as well. I've heard it kind of, there's some frame rate issues and stuff like that, but I mean, overall, I've heard pretty positive things.
Jet, you don't have a Vita, do you?
I do not.
Yeah, Matt, you do. Are you going to get it or no? Are you interested or?
I've been thinking about it, actually, yeah. I'm probably going to get it, and when I do, I'll play it and we'll talk about it on here. But
Yeah,
I
look forward.
I've heard, like I said, I've heard really good things about it. Apparently, the story is pretty fleshed out for a PS Vita game. There's been some pretty bad open world games on it, but apparently this is not one of them. So, yeah, kind of looking
that's
forward
good.
to it.
I like it.
Once you're done playing the Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified on your Vita, right?
False. I will never play that game. No, it's apparently pretty bad. I mean, the studio shut down right before the game got released, so that's never a good sign.
Yeah. It's never a good sign when what was it, Infinity Ward or whoever was like, what? They're making this game?
Yeah,
They didn't even know
exactly.
it was coming out?
Yeah, Nihilistic is making it, and then somebody asked Infinity Ward in an interview, what do you think about this new game? And Infinity Ward goes, what game?
That's not a good sign.
No, yeah, definitely not a good sign. But yeah, apparently it's not too good. And there's multiplayer on it as well, but apparently it's just very not.
So you can play with all 0 of your friends. Like
Yeah,
the Vita.
exactly. Every single person you know that owns Black Ops or that owns the game will play with you, which is 0.
Yeah.
I saw a Vita in the wild the other day. It was the second Vita I've ever seen in the wild.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
I feel like I
Sony's
see 'em all the
commercials make me
time.
believe that everybody has one out in the wild.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they're just not big up here in Toronto, but I saw the one time I saw it before recently was at a convention. So
Wait, when you say in the wild, do you mean people are playing it? Or do you mean like it's at a retail shop on the shelf?
someone who owns it for themselves. Or
Oh,
was
okay.
just using it.
Or do you mean you saw it running through the forest?
Yes.
Cannot comment on rumors and speculation.
Okay. I initially thought you meant like on store shelves. And it's like, man, I see them every day. Like whenever I go out, like they're always there. But yeah, I actually only think I've seen it at a convention. Someone had one, and then of course there's someone at GameStop has one or something.
Yeah.
That's it.
I see it in the wild every time I bring it out into the wild.
I look down in my pocket, and there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anybody play it. I don't think I've seen one person with it since I bought it.
All that is going to change when the Uncharted card game comes out, so just get ready.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one game I've anticipated, the Uncharted card game.
What is the card game that is being played? Is it a special Uncharted specific game, or is it solitaire? Like, what's going on?
I don't know, actually. I just know it had Nathan Drake in it, and people were disappointed.
Yeah, I heard card game and then just pretty much didn't look into it anymore.
Is it just like the Pokemon card game reskin with Uncharted?
That would actually be pretty good. So I'm going to say no.
Maybe it's like the Final Fantasy IX card game, and it's just pictures of the Drake characters on them.
Again, that would be really good. So no. Don't be hating on Tetramaster. That game was great.
No, I'm just saying. Would probably be better than what they're actually going to release.
The other thing I've been playing, I got a Wii U. Did it.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
We need to have some kind of like celebratory music play when you say that.
Yeah. Or I guess
the
the
Final
Zelda.
Fantasy jingle. Yeah, Zelda.
Yeah. So Matt, we still have to talk about when you're coming by.
Yes.
We'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah,
so
for
you
sure.
can play this thing.
I think that was the first thing I sent you. You're like, got a Wii U. I'm like, when am I coming over?
Yeah, I just didn't want to message you that in public on Facebook and then invite 800 other people on my Facebook list who want to come over and play it too.
Come on over. My address is.
So yeah.
So, yeah.
I got one of those things, and my initial impressions of it. The hardware is very cool. The controller looks very nifty, and I've played it before a couple of times, but having it not tied to a demo station and getting to use it for realsies, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with the button layout and how everything works, and I like it a lot. The only thing that sucks is the battery life, and that thing is terrible for that.
Yeah, I heard it was like 3.5 hours or something.
About 3.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Each time I've played the Wii U so far, it has gone from a full charge to dead.
Does it have like a docking station like the 3DS, or is there a cord?
If you bought the deluxe version, there is a docking station.
So can you play with it charging?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
worst case
that's
scenario,
better.
it's a not a wild controller like that wild Vita, but it is a wired controller.
Yeah, that's not necessarily bad. I mean, you're not going to be going that far away from the TV.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you said
It
you
works.
went somewhat far from the TV. It works in the
yes.
bathroom, I think.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are talking crazy insider info.
Spoilers.
It works well for about like 20 feet is about as far as you can go. And
That's pretty generous.
Yeah.
20 feet's pretty good, yeah.
I actually brought the Wii U into work to show my coworkers, and I had it plugged in at my coworker's desk, who was across the studio from me, and I went back to my desk and just had the controller and was playing Mario. It was pretty rad.
Nice.
That's neat. So, what are the games?
I wanted to talk about some hardware stuff in the meantime.
Oh, okay.
Before we get there.
Anticipation.
So there's a day one patch. Before we even get there, setting up the internet on that thing was awful.
Really?
Flat out awful. They have the whole guide to follow you through the process, and every single time I tried to set it up, it said, could not find network, even though I clicked on the button that was my network specifically and typed in the password. Did not go. So what I had to do was I found a guide on Joystick that had a 10-step process of how to set this thing up manually, and I had to get information on my DNS and change ports and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Wow.
And so this took
Yeah.
about a half an hour for me to figure out and do, because I'm not a very technical person. Finally get it going. And it's like, great, we can go play Nintendo Land now. And nope, day one patch.
Yeah, I heard it's like an hour.
It took over an hour to download and another half hour to install.
Holy
Oh my
cow.
gosh.
And I've heard some crazy reports that if you shut off the power at any point during that update, you're going to break your system.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Wow,
I
so
was
it's user-friendly right out of the box.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly. But yeah, without that update, you don't get the Miiverse, you don't get Netflix, you don't get pretty much anything online related.
Wow.
So I do it, make sure you've got it plugged into a power source that isn't going to die. Maybe have a generator on standby or something.
Right. We've all got one of those lying around.
If your internet times out during this process and you turn off your system, it'll still break. So
Wow.
be careful.
Yeah, really.
And then it was like, all right, so 2 hours have passed. We've set up the Wii U. We've plugged in everything. We've got the patch. Great, let's throw in Nintendo Land. Put the disc in. Another day one patch. Another 20
Really?
minutes gone.
Oh, man.
What do they patch for that?
I have no idea. No idea what they patched in.
It's just a patch to play Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
So finally, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, we finally get to play some Nintendo Land. And it is a minigame collection. It is
course.
also very different from the likes of a Wii Sports, where Wii Sports was just very basic games that relate to real life activities that pretty much anyone would be interested in based on the source material, and people would be able to pick it up and play right away.
Right.
Nintendo Land is not that game at all. All the mini games are based on Nintendo franchises, so there's a Mario-based game, a Metroid-based game, a Zelda-based game.
When you say based, you mean like just using the characters, or they're actually like the sort of gameplay?
It varies from minigame to minigame.
Okay.
So, for instance, the Mario game, it's called Mario Chase. So that is one person with the control pad is the person that is quote-unquote it, and then the other 4 people have to run and chase after him. And so it's kind of like tag, and the 4 people are trying to tackle the one person, and the 4 people can view a certain part of the map, and the one person can kind of see everything.
Is the one person on the gamepad?
Yes. So that one's okay. Some of them are a little more involved, I would say. Like, the Zelda one is neat. That one is actually up to 4 people have remotes, and they are basically wielding it as swords. So your character walks forward, and then you can use the sword to swipe and hit enemies and block. And then the person with the gamepad is actually the archer, kind of following behind and they're shooting arrows at people. That's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
And
That
there's,
sounds neat.
I believe, 10 levels for that, so playing through that from beginning to end would take an hour or 2.
Wow.
And the levels get progressively difficult, and there's some puzzle solving. It's actually kind of neat.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
I'll say overall, Nintendo Land as a package is pretty fun, and it does a great job of showing off the potential that system has.
Good. That's what it had to do.
Yeah.
So as long as it does that, it did well.
I will be reviewing that for Splitkick, and yeah, I mean, I've just got to write that up. I've played all the mini-games at this point. Some of them are better than others. Steph's favorite is the Pikmin one, which essentially is a scaled-down version of Skylanders.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you play as the character in the world, and you beat up enemies, and you level up and get more abilities and stuff. It's neat. The weakest game on there is probably the Game & Watch Octopus one, which is a sort of dancing minigame thing. It wasn't really my thing.
Man,
I find it hard to believe that dancing minigame wasn't your thing.
And the other thing I've been playing on this thing, the new Super Mario Bros. U.
And how is that?
Yeah.
Not feeling very new. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's posing a lot more of a challenge than I thought it would.
Yeah.
The first world was a breeze, and the second one I've been dying a lot. I don't know if it's just because I suck or because the game is actually kind of difficult. It's fun, but it's a Mario game, and and like even within the new Super Mario Brothers series, this is, I believe, the 4th one.
Yes.
And I mean, it's still worth playing, and I'm sure it's going to be great as a co-op game, but the luster of the whole new Super Mario Bros. Experience is starting to wear off on me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still worth playing if you've got a Wii U, but...
Yeah, I think out of all the launch games, I think that's the one that I know I'd flock to, but I'd say everyone would probably go after.
Yeah.
Most of the online sources I've been reading about for that game, Mario U, say that multiplayer is pretty much the way to go to get the best out of it. Do you think it's the same way, or? I
would agree with that. I haven't had a chance to play much multiplayer in that yet, but I am looking forward to when I get to.
I'm still upset that they've included the 2 Toads as the other characters.
Yeah.
1 Toad is fine. Why do we have 2?
Do we really need 2 Toads?
It would be so rad if they could get Princess Peach back in there. I mean,
and she could jump and float through the air longer than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Even though that game wasn't part of the Mario universe in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but I mean, it is in there, so maybe they could bring
it is
back.
now.
I don't even know what other character I'd want, because I mean, it can't be Peach. She's already kidnapped or far away or whatever. So I don't really know who else we could use. Maybe no, I can't really use Yoshi either. There's got to be somebody else. Just throw Donkey Kong in there or something.
One last thing I wanted to mention about the Wii U the Wii U experience in general. The more I've been playing with the thing, the more I like it. It's very different from the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and starting to lose my voice here. The online functionality for it is will probably never fully live up to the experience that you'll get on the other platforms, but some of the things it does is actually really cool. In particular, I really like the Miiverse and the Miiverse integration of that stuff. For instance, you're playing a game of Nintendo Land, and I'm playing the ninja one where you're throwing ninja stars, and I die at a level, and within the gamepad I can start seeing Miiverse comments and pictures of people who just played that level saying, oh, this level was great, or I got stuck at this point.
Oh, really?
How do I get past this? And then you can comment on those people's comments and say, oh, you did it by doing this. And even if you're playing a single-player game, it kind of feels like you're playing it with other people.
Wow.
So there's a very community feel to it.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Very social.
Yeah. In the Nintendo Land main hub world, it gets populated with characters with other players that are also playing the game, and all of their comments pop up as you walk by. When you're in the Miiverse in general, there's threads for every single Wii U game out there and functionality. So there's like a Netflix board and a Zombie U board and a Funky Barn board. And people are just talking about the games, and there's special notifications for people who have commented that have played that game. And it's actually really neat to see the community speak to each other like that. Just a very public forum for that type of stuff is cool.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. I guess you got to give it to Nintendo for creating a pretty safe, user-friendly online experience. I mean, you pretty much sold it to me. That sounds pretty cool.
It is cool. And it's very different from what Xbox and PlayStation do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and it's got to be kind of difficult to, brand it as something that is different from what's already out there, or at least find something that's different from what's already out there.
Yeah, I think Nintendo really needs to somehow incorporate that to the 3DS to really kind of get a stranglehold on that market of social online gaming. If they can do that, they're doing well.
You guys still up for a Bosscast topic of the week? We're running 45 minutes in. You guys still have some more gas left in the tank to cover off whatever the heck we end up doing with this?
Oh, we're good, my
Let's
man.
do it, man. Let's do it. Pumped.
All right, so Bosscast topic of the week is console loyalty. So this was a subject that we decided to go with in light of the Wii U being out. And I don't know about you guys, but I've seen a lot of haters and poopy pantses trashing the Wii U who probably haven't played the Wii U or experienced it all, and just a lot of people hating on it just because it's Nintendo. And I'm not... this wasn't supposed to be a let's defend Nintendo or be super fanboys, but...
Yeah.
Not really sure where to go from there. I don't even know if that's a topic.
No, I know. I mean, what if we start with... are there any, maybe systems or, I don't know, publishers or developers or, I don't know, game companies like Sony that you guys always sort of went to no matter what? You're always like, yeah, they'll put out something good, and you just sort of blindly followed them to a purchase?
Well, I know, Jack, you're kind of a Nintendo guy, right?
I've been a lifelong Nintendo fan, and for a long time was a Nintendo loyalist. So, during the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days, when I guess console loyalty really became a thing, I was a Nintendo guy all the way.
Yeah.
Then I only had a Nintendo 64, and I only had a GameCube, and up until the Wii, I thought that everything on Nintendo was the best thing ever, and everything else did not matter. I am not afraid to admit that. And then
it is, yeah.
And
kind of a one-sided thing.
I thought it was fine. There were enough games that I enjoyed on those platforms that made me think I don't need to play anything else. Yeah. I'm good with this. And I didn't have the money for anything else anyway. Not that I was looking to spread my wings, but I think ultimately I got to the Wii and was really disappointed in how that system turned out. I think the first day it was awesome because there was Wii Sports, and then on day 2 realized, I can't play any of the games I wanted to play because these controls are kind of janky and they're missing a whole bunch of buttons. And that was
so you had your fallout.
I did have a bit of a fallout with Nintendo, and I've gotten a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360 sits, which I play a lot more. But I will probably always have a soft spot in my heart for Nintendo.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way. Like I think only Nintendo's the only company that I could look at and just feel like I know what I was going to get from that purchase. I think, Jet, you kind of put it the right way talking about New Super Mario Brothers U, because you know what you're going to get. And so you buy it with this expectation of quality, and you almost always get, to some degree, what you were expecting. And I think only Nintendo really does that for me. The only other company that I really liked their stuff would probably be Capcom. Just because, like, pretty much all of their Street Fighters, pretty much, excluding the movie, they're all pretty good. So, like, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a solid fighter. So I followed, like, all of their fighters because I knew they'd be pretty good. And then they also made Mega Man. So I knew Mega Man would be good. So I followed them. But, I mean, in terms of console loyalty, I tried to spread out everywhere. So, I mean, I enjoyed my Nintendo, but growing up, I loved Genesis. It had other stuff and new things. And, I don't know. I mean, I got the PlayStation and, Xbox. It went from there. So, kind of everything.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Like, go ahead, Jet.
I just keep cutting you off. No, Matt, you go. Nope, you do it.
I was going to say that I'm kind of in the same boat, as Jason. Like, I wasn't really loyal to anything growing up. Kind of whatever offered the best sort of variety is what I went with. I started with a Nintendo, like an NES. Then I moved up to the Super Nintendo. And I actually had both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis.
Turncoat.
I know. And then, I mean, I moved on to PlayStation. The only console that I never actually owned was the original Xbox.
Not missing much.
No, and that's what I've heard. Like, I had fun with the PlayStation 2, and then I got the PlayStation 3. I was really happy with the PlayStation 3. But then, I think, like 2007 or something, I got an Xbox 360, 2008, and I was much more
What have I been missing?
Yeah, I know. Well, the thing was, though, was like, games are going the way, like, internet is the way games are now. Like, everything's online, everything's social, right? And I think that Xbox and Microsoft do the social aspect of console gaming a lot better than PlayStation does. And so, agreed. In that respect, I guess I would say I'm Xbox loyal right now. It's not to say, like, I own a PlayStation 3 as well. I play PlayStation 3 games, but for my definitive sort of gaming console experience, I would say I'm probably Xbox loyal.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and it's because of that online presence. Like, if you're going to pick the PS3 or the Xbox, like, which one? Because I have them both. So if I'm going to get, say, Darksiders 2, like, which one would I go for? I'd probably just go for the Xbox because I know I can much easier talk to my friends or display my achievements or get online. It's just so much more smooth and it looks better. So I don't know. I mean, like, that's kind of almost the deciding factor is that sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at this point, I think I'm jumping ahead in the list here, but the only reason I sort of keep my PlayStation around is for Sony exclusives.
Yeah.
Like Uncharted or things like that. Beyond Two Souls is coming out. That looks awesome. A lot of their sort of the games that you can only get on PlayStation is kind of the only reason I still have my PlayStation.
Yeah, so kind of the same for me too.
any games I'm going to play online, like sports games or anything like that, I always go with Xbox because I got friends on Xbox and I like the online experience better.
I used to have an unfair bias or prejudice against Sony. I think at the time when the PlayStation 1 came out...
It's because they screwed Nintendo, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I wasn't even a fan of Final Fantasy, but I was so butthurt when Final Fantasy VII went from the N64 to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And just... I loved my Nintendo 64, played the heck out of it, and then public perception went to PlayStation's the best, and then I'd get made fun of for my kiddie system, and go play Mario Kart. And I'm like... Yeah, I'll play Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Mario Kart's
awesome. Yeah.
Screw you guys and your Crash Team Racing or whatever the heck it was. Well, Crash Team Racing's pretty good in hindsight, but yeah, I think just the whole Sony screw Nintendo thing stuck with me for a very long time. And so I missed out on the entirety of the PlayStation 2 era. And it wasn't until I think it was 2009 or 2010 when I finally bought a PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And since then, I do really enjoy the system, and I've played pretty much all the major console exclusives on that, and they're totally awesome.
Yeah. I think the PS3's got, for you, Jet, it's got fighting games going for it. I don't know, I would assume a lot of fighters would go to the PS3 over the Xbox.
Depends. I have a weird split between the two. My brother plays on Xbox, but my coworkers play on PS3. So, I mean, Street Fighter 4, I have copies for both systems.
Yeah.
Marvel I have on Xbox. Persona 4 I have on PS3. Street Fighter Cross Tekken I have on PS3. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I feel like maybe for me at least, then the difference almost comes from just the controller. Like if I'm not going to invest in a pad, like a big arcade stick, then the pad for the PS3 I like a little bit better than the joke of the Xbox 360. But
you're not a fan of the controller for Xbox 360?
What?
You're not a fan of the Xbox 360 controller?
I don't like their D-pad. It's too roundy. Yeah.
I used to be also very biased against the PlayStation controller, especially when they switched to the DualShock. I'm like, oh, that's just a rip-off of the Nintendo Rumble Pack and the analog stick. This is never going to fly. This controller looks dumb. And of course it becomes like the industry standard.
Yeah,
that Nintendo's only ripping off now. But then again, also, like, the PlayStation controller was basically a variation of the Super Nintendo controller, and...
Yeah. Well... No, go on.
I got nothing. It's just kind of stop there. Yeah, my history with Xbox, I missed out on the entire Xbox One generation as well. I remember playing an Xbox demo unit when it first came out, and they still had the giant Duke controller, and it was that Bruce Lee game that they were demoing for some reason. That was... Whoa, what was that? Hello?
Hey.
Yeah?
Did someone just, like, rub their microphone against their shirt or something?
Oh, that might have been me. Sorry. I was yawning and I was trying to do it all secret-like. Apparently, I did not do that correctly.
Not secret at all.
Yeah. Nope.
That's okay. So yeah, I played that demo and it was awful and I hated that controller and said, this thing's never going to fly, and disregarded it. And of course then Halo became a thing.
And then they fixed the controller, so that helps.
Yeah.
So, Jet, you think you kind of missed the PS1, PS2 era, and Matt, did you say you missed anything or no?
I missed Xbox, the original.
Xbox. I think I kind of missed PS1 just because, like, a money thing. I got into it later. But this kind of leads into the question, do you think console loyalty is bad? Just because, I mean, you know, Jet, you didn't really play a lot of good games because you were so into the Nintendo systems. So.
I don't... Console loyalty in itself doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you really like something and want to stick with that, great. But if you have aspirations, if you are holding yourself back from playing games you want to play because it is not on a platform you support, then that's a bad thing.
Yes, agreed.
If you are picking fights at school because you are a PlayStation 3 kid and everyone else is an Xbox 360 kid, and they said bad things about PSN, then that's probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
If you are going on Metacritic and giving the PS3 version of Mass Effect 3 a 10 and the Xbox version a 0, that is probably also a bad thing.
Yeah,
probably.
Definitely.
I think you bring up very good points, but I think what I would go with console loyalty being good or bad is almost like a financial thing. Just the money kind of makes a difference. You know, and this goes on to what Matt said earlier. If you let's eliminate the Wii because it's kind of separate thing, a little bit different than the Xbox and the PS3. So if you have, you know, if you're going to decide one or the other, you know, that's a big investment if you don't have a lot of money. And so say you settle on the Xbox and then, you know, you kind of swear off the PS3 because you don't want to spend that extra money, then, you know, that person is now missing out on a lot of games. So that person can't play Uncharted or Infamous, you know, or Little Big Planet, really, really good games. So in that sense, console loyalty, and not even console loyalty, just the competitive market almost hampers a gamer that doesn't have enough money or enough time almost to play a lot of these games. And in that sense, I think it's kind of bad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can look at it from a sense that there are most of the big name titles are made for both consoles, but a lot of the sort of more, how do I put it, like...
first party, maybe?
Yeah, first party, but sort of like really games that you experience. Like there are, PlayStation is kind of known for its sort of like really big, epic, you know, games like Uncharted and things like that. Whereas Xbox doesn't really have any sort of specific only for, I mean, Halo, I guess, would be one of them, but nothing really that stands out like that on their system. So, I mean, if you're an Xbox person, you're missing a lot of kind of interesting games like, you know, Heavy Rain and things like that.
I was just going to throw an example in there. If you have only an Xbox 360, then you haven't played anything on the level of God of War.
No, exactly.
Yeah. That's actually a good point. Like, when I try to tell people the differences between the 360 and the PS3, I'll always say, 360's got the multiplayer gaming and the internet down, but in terms of games, like good, unique games, it's always PlayStation.
Absolutely.
They've got it cornered.
Yeah.
So, I guess
it's almost you could sort of generalize it as Xbox is the multiplayer console, PS3 is the single player console.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the gamer suffers in sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, they can't have more sort of sharing, I guess.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess because of that, I can completely understand why someone would be loyal. Going back to Jet, I guess I could see why you would stick with Nintendo, because, Mario is amazing, and his properties that they put out with Nintendo are great. So it's justified, but maybe not the greatest way it could be.
And I think it stems too from the fact that the PS3, in terms of processing power and sort of just basic guts, is a lot stronger than the Xbox as well, right? So developers that are developing games that are really graphic intensive, or tech demos like Quantic Dream, they just did the Kara tech demo, things like that. I think are pretty much only able to run on the PS3 console. They wouldn't be able to do it on the Xbox. So I mean, that plays into it as well.
I guess one of my other biases, or I don't even know if I call it bias. I don't play PC games at all.
Yeah.
I have not been a PC. I have not played anything really on the PC since the original Rayman in no, the last game I played was Descent.
Oh, yeah.
Descent, way back. I've never liked the experience of installing games. I think dating from way back then, even then I still remember having a computer that was not powerful enough to run Doom.
Yeah.
And that was a real heartbreaker. I had Wolfenstein that chugged along, but Doom would not run at all. So I've never had the hardware to play anything decent on it. And then I've always just been turned off by the whole buying graphics cards and having to troubleshoot installing games. I've never liked playing on keyboard and mouse for anything ever.
Mm-hmm. I think you bring up a really good, almost umbrella category of console versus PC.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think there's people will definitely be PS3, 360, which one's better, but I think almost everyone in the gaming community will be on either one side, like PC or console. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could be in both. I guess I support both. But
I'm in both.
I support games wherever, but I think I would say I definitely lean towards console, just because, I don't know, I almost always play on console. Yeah. And I think it goes back again to Xbox having the online experience, things like that. It's a little bit better, or at least I have my friends that are on that, so I try to lean that way.
Totally. To counterpoint your assorted online pro Xbox points, PSN's free. I can play online without having to pay any money.
Good point. I mean,
that is true.
Online Steam is free if you play through Steam or whatever.
PSN has gotten a lot better in general since that system first came out. There's a new PSN store now, and PlayStation Plus is a totally rad service.
Yeah, definitely. And you get free games.
Yeah, arguably the better $60 a year to spend.
I'd say hands down the better $60.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so I know. Go on.
Just back to PC. I know that a lot of things have changed on PC since, where there's a lot of games you can play even if you don't have the latest hardware, and there's Steam that makes buying games easier, and you can plug in an Xbox 360 controller and you're good, but it just does not appeal to me. Also, I'm still working on a 2007 MacBook, so I can't play anything on that.
Well, I think sort of the thing about PC is that, you can turn the graphics down and whatnot, so you can play it on a machine that isn't necessarily as powerful as, the game sort of recommends you have. But if you're going to do that, then just play it on the console.
Exactly.
Because, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was going to say, right when you were saying that, I think the big draw to the PC before was that it could produce the most powerful graphics. And I'm sure it probably still can, but now consoles are so much more comparable that it's kind of I might as well buy it for this and know that my game will always work. I don't have to upgrade, or my computer won't be used by someone else, or something. It could be in my room. So I think it loses the PC versus console war. I think the PC kind of lost one of their big hits with just the advancement of tech.
Yeah, no, completely. But I mean, that being said, if you, for instance, Battlefield, if you want, an absolutely unbelievable graphical experience, then you're going to play it on the PC. But it's also you're also going to need, a $2,000 machine to do it. So
True.
I mean, if it's something that you have or something that you're really interested in doing and sort of keeping up with the technology, then, you're going to get a better sort of visual experience on the PC. But if keeping up with all the latest graphic trends isn't really your thing, then just go with the console. You're not really missing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Almost the lazy way, but in my mind, the best way.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote this point, though. When console loyalty sucks? What's going on with this?
Oh, I think I just kind of talked about how when you are so loyal that you are cutting yourself off from playing cool things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Starting flame wars on the internet and all that type of stuff. I've seen a lot of Wii U hate of late. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Xbox hate and PlayStation hate when those new systems come out. And I know people still troll the PlayStation Vita a lot, and many of whom probably haven't played the system at all. And in the wild.
In the wild.
So I'm sure that there's got to be some must-play experiences on there at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of unfair to hate on the Vita because not only just because I own one out in the wild, but nobody's developing for it. So it's really hard to say that, the Vita sucks or it's not good because nobody's really put any money behind it or nobody's really put any sort of big development teams behind it. I mean, look at this. They get Call of Duty and, some nobody team makes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, not to say that Nihilistic is a nobody team, but they're definitely not, to the caliber. I mean, obviously, if you look at the reviews and play the game on Vita, they're not to the caliber that it should have been for, a supposedly console-saving game. So, I don't know. I just think that, if there was a developer that developed solely for the Vita from the ground up, we might see something that could potentially push the system. But I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon.
See, I think the problem with the Vita isn't really that it's a bad system. In fact, it's probably really great. It's just that I see no investment in that because I know I won't get a lot of games out of it right now. Yeah. So there's nothing there for me to grab it. And a good way to look at it also, like in sort of comparison, is to look at the 3DS. Whereas, it started out pretty bad and because there wasn't much to do on it. AR games are cool and maybe you got Street Fighter or something, but it wasn't until a few months later that the big games started to come out, and those were already like remakes, so Star Fox and Zelda and whatnot. Yeah. But I mean, now I think I just read today that Nintendo reported 22 million 3DSs sold, which is pretty good.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's because it has just solid games behind it now, and I'm sure the Vita will get there. Just like the PSP was kind of slow. I look back, and my collection of PSP games is tiny. It's smaller than other consoles I have, but there are like quality games there that are really, really good that I'm glad I have the PSP for. And the Vita will get there.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. At least for your sake.
Maybe we'll see some more in the wild.
Yeah.
The 3DS, I bought that on day one, and
yeah, me too.
Me too.
I haven't played much of it at all. I have 3 or 4 games. That one's kind of been a bit of a bust for me. I don't know. Yeah. I guess I know there's been a lot more big games, but not so much that are for me, per se. And the last game I played on that was Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah.
And that game was great.
Did you get the second stick for it, or did you do it with the stylus?
I did it with the stylus.
Yeah. And
the controls are kind of a bummer, but they can be overcome if you're willing to put in the time to get the feel for it. And that game otherwise is fantastic.
Yeah. See, well, I don't want to get into it. We'll get into it later, but I have plenty of reasons I can explain to you about 3DS being good. Okay. But we'll talk about it later.
No, tell me.
No, I mean later in the show.
Oh, okay.
It's my plug.
Oh, okay. I mean, just kind of my last point on the 3DS is that when you're selling features, the fact that you can do stereoscopic 3D, and then after about 15 minutes you can't stand it and you have to turn it off. I don't know. I feel that if you're turning off the 3D anyway, why don't I just use my old DS?
I think the key here for Nintendo is to migrate the idea of 3DS, meaning the three-dimensional DS and just make people start to think that Nintendo 3DS means it's the third version of the DS, because I mean technically there was the DS and then the DSi and then the 3DS.
That's
so
true.
It's kind of like the DS3. Maybe they can just somehow move the 3 after the S and be like, what do you mean 3DS? It's the DS3. And then everyone will be like, oh, this is great. And
you guys are reading it wrong the whole time.
Yeah, you crazy kids for 2.5 years. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
But I agree.
Anything else you guys wanted to throw on there around the words console loyalty? Go Nintendo!
Yeah, Nintendo rules. Sony's rules? I don't know. No. Just play games and have fun.
Play games. I would say that if you can buy all the systems, play everything on everything.
Definitely.
Just, if you like games, play them on whatever platform they're on, because it's not worth being a poopy pants about game I like is on a system I don't like, so I'm just not going to play it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
If you can do it, do it.
And the systems are getting cheap enough now that it's not... I mean, you're not spending $300-$400 on each system anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you can usually get them in bundles as well with some of the games that we're talking about. So,
again, Black Friday deals.
Yeah, Black Friday deals.
That all passed about a week ago. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but there still could be some lingering, discounts or sales.
For our Canadian listeners, we've got Boxing Day coming up.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of a final thought. It's just exactly what you guys are saying. There's good games for every console. So, I mean, you're limiting yourself if you're not playing a console specifically due to brand loyalty. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely say try everything, because there's awesome games out for both.
Are you guys into buying consoles at launch?
The only console I've actually ever got at launch was the Nintendo GameCube and the 3DS. Everything else I've kind of waited, and not that I didn't want to. Like right now I really want a Wii U, but it just kind of didn't work out for me at the time, so I just never really got it.
That's fair. Matt?
I bought the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis both at launch. I say I bought them. I got them as gifts. And right. I bought the 3DS and the Vita both at launch.
Okay. I have gotten the
Wii U.
I got the Wii U. I got that at launch. I got the GameCube at launch. The GameCube launch was funny. We just walked into a store and grabbed one. And then a couple of years later, the Wii comes out, and there's just giant lines everywhere. And a fight broke out at one of them. And the Wii U...
I wanted the Wii, but it was sold out, so I couldn't get it until later.
Yeah, I had to throw down a pre-order through one of my friends at Zellers. She got me this bundle thing. It was a $400 pre-order, and I had to get a bunch of games I didn't like, but she let me return the games I didn't like and exchange them for other stuff after. So that was great.
Awesome. Yeah, it worked out.
And the Wii U, I just leading up to that launch, particularly the night before, I was like, well, this is the time when people are going to start lining up, just like they did for the PlayStation 3 and the Wii. Nope. I think I was the only person in Toronto excited for this thing.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Everyone was excited about the football team, so...
Go Argos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I was leading up to was going into the next generation. Wii U is out. I guess that kind of cancels out my question of would you buy that at launch, because you guys didn't. But we've still got another Xbox and another PlayStation coming, presumably next year. Based on, I guess, virtually nothing that we know now, based solely on your loyalty, are you planning on buying either of those at launch?
Yes. I would plan on buying at least one.
Okay.
I have not heard any speculation about the PS4. I assume that's what it's going to be called, so I've heard that. But I don't know anything about that. But I've heard there was a leak a while ago. I don't even know if it's true for the new Xbox. And everything they're doing with that, I don't want to get into it now, but that seemed really cool. And that would be enough new features and stuff that I would actually want to get that at launch. So I would probably lean towards getting the, let's say, Xbox 720. Like, I'd probably go towards that at launch. I think I would buy it.
What are these rumors? I would love to hear this rumors and speculation. Let's keep the gossip going.
I partly didn't want to say because I can't remember everything offhand, because I remember reading it in like June. But it was something to do with like the integration of Kinect into the system, basically using the new Xbox as a TV like channel well, not a channel, but like a box to get all of your TV channels through the Xbox. Just better online integration, and there was another really cool feature I can't think of, but
well, they speculated like Blu-ray and native 3D support.
I think it is going to include Blu-ray. I think that was one of them because Microsoft's going to concede that one. But I don't know. It just seemed really cool. Like for a new console, they're really going for the home entertainment experience, not just the video game, and they're taking it to this crazy new level. And if it was all true, which is just a rumor, just a leak, that really sounds cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, I would lean towards that. But no, I lied. I do know about the PS4. Sony bought Gaikai, the online distributor of games, and then there are rumors that because of that, the new PlayStation, even they might just do firmware update for the PS3. They might be leaning towards a lot of digital distribution for games, and it would also include like TV shows and movies and stuff to make it, a competitive rival box. And I mean, that's pretty cool too. But that's all I really know about that, so I can't give anything else. But yeah, I'd probably go towards Xbox, and then once I hear about the games for the PS4 that I would want to play, I would buy that one too.
Yeah, that pretty much covers everything I would have said as well.
Sorry.
No, it's cool because I saw the same, it was like a leaked document or whatever. I kind of saw the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the features look pretty good. I think, we have to take kind of everything we see with a grain of salt anyway right now, but definitely exciting. It's going to be exciting to see where they go with, all the technology and stuff that's coming out. So I think whatever it is, it'll be good for gamers. So that's pretty much all I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to plan on keep on playing, so I got to buy something.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
All right, guys, let's wrap up the show. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, console loyalty and all that. So what do you guys got going on your respective websites, writing and such? Throw this one to Matt. What you got going on?
It's actually a little bit of a slow week for me. My work itself is picking up a lot, so I haven't really had time to do a lot of gaming. I've got a bit of a smaller the War Z review, kind of just a first impressions look at it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool.
Hopefully I'll be able to pick back up and start doing a bit more gaming in the weeks to come.
Yeah, kind of. It's been kind of slow here too, just being between games. But right now, it's busy with work, so I'm a little slow now. But I was going to tell you about the 3DS earlier, Jet. I'm trying to do some sort of awards thing on Slick Gaming, but it's not quite panning out well because I wanted to only do it for games that I've actually played throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I don't really have a comprehensive list of PS3 or Wii or really Xbox 360 games, so I got to keep working on that. But the 3DS is pretty heated, and I don't know, it just kind of makes me think like there are so many good 3DS games that came out. A lot of them came out recently that that's the only best of the year I could actually give thoughtful input to. So yeah, if you I wrote down on my notes here every 3DS game that I played and beat throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And Jet, these are all reasons to own the system.
Okay.
So like I said before, Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Escape, it's fantastic. The new Professor Layton, Paper Mario Sticker Star, Kingdom Hearts 3D, the Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy, Rhythm Thief, and the Emperor's Treasure, the downloadable game Pushmo, and the remake of Tales of the Abyss, and then the lackluster presentation by Tekken 3D Prime are all, even though it's kind of not good, it's actually a good fighting game for the system. But those all came out this year, and those are all pretty good games. And, I mean, Zero Escape, Professor Layton, and Paper Mario all came out within the past month. And I'd say those are probably the top three for the game of the year for the 3DS. Yeah, so we'll see which one. But I mean, that, I don't know. That's such a solid showing from the 3DS that had really nothing when it first came out. This year, I want to see what people rate as the best one for the year, because I think it's actually pretty heated. But yeah, so that's what I got going over there.
Cool. I am looking forward to that.
Should be good.
What do I got going on my end? On Split Kick, I am going to be, I guess, the go-to Wii U guy. I've got Nintendo Land review coming. I'll probably review Mario after that. And on my own site, inthirdperson.com, I put up my thoughts on Assassin's Creed 3. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other posts there. That site just goes. So definitely check that out every few days, because I update that every few, and then on Splitkick, I submit a whole bunch of stuff, so always busy. Other things... Oh, sorry, guys.
No, just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Other things to check out, don't forget to listen to Fall Damage and Rocket Jump, the other Splitkick podcasts. Bits of Reality, great retro show by Dan Tolan. And there's another Splitkick show coming soon. I don't know if we can speak to that so much, but that should be fun.
Mystery
show. Whatever the heck that ends up being. You guys can also email us at bosscast@splitkick.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and review us on iTunes. Anything 5 stars or greater.
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually don't. They don't let you put 4 stars or below, so don't even bother.
Yeah, it's just on your computer. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing. Don't forget, you can tweet us. Matt is at Matty Lang, Jason's at JJasicki, and I am at Jetlandy Joe. So, till next time, we are out.
Bosscast done.